It's time.
That's right, we're doing another sassy anti-makeup haul, and we're gonna roast some new makeup. I do want to forewarn you in case you didn't read the title before you clicked on the video. If these types of videos offend you, if they make you sad, if they make you feel attacked, personally victimized,
because some of us are just victims in the situation,
don't watch it.
Oh my God, there is so much. Wow, this could be a two-parter. So one of the first things I see when I roll up onto the trend mood page is that Anastasia Beverly Hills is coming out with the summer-inspired 3-in-1 face palette. So this is your typical bronzer, highlighter, and blush palette. It says it's a new improved formula. Who asked for this? I mean, is it just me? Like, I just feel like face palettes are so out. So there are 3 palettes. There's one for light skin, medium skin, and darker skin. The reason that I don't like face palettes, like I've never used face palettes really, like I have some, they never get used, is because I feel like the perfect palette just doesn't exist. Like the perfect palette that has your favorite tone of bronzer, your favorite finish of bronzer, your favorite finish and tone of highlighter or blush, like I feel like that just doesn't exist. So Colourpop has these new 5-pan palettes, which are $10 each, and I feel like that's a great price point, number one. But it's supposed to be like all the colors in the rainbow, and each one is more of a monochromatic look. I feel like Colourpop has so many monochromatic palettes, and I feel like if you have one, you got them all. I mean, the swatches do look great. Like if you're into this kind of like monochromatic color story, you may want to check this out. Like I'm not completely dissing this. I'm just tired of Colourpop doing the same old stuff over and over. And just because they change the packaging, like just because they condense it or, you know, make it larger or maybe change out one shimmer, like it doesn't really make it different. Like it's just, I feel like that's all we see from Colourpop now. It's just the same old song and dance. So the next thing I want to talk about is the Wet n Wild SpongeBob SquarePants collection. Number one, my question is, who is the demographic for this? Are you appealing to kids? Are you appealing to older adults like my age, where it's like a more nostalgic thing? I'm pretty sure SpongeBob is still in the air, but I don't know if it's as like popping as it was when I was a kid. The first thing I thought of when I saw these bottles was that, oh, it's a bubble bath, it's a shower gel, like that's what they're trying to do here. But turns out it's a setting mist and primer mist. So yeah, who'da thunk it? But let's take a look at the eyeshadow palette, just because I feel like that's probably gonna be the biggest seller here. I do feel like it's very SpongeBob. Like the colors are, it's a good SpongeBob color story. But everything else, like you've got a sandy kabuki brush, you've got a SpongeBob blending bronzer brush type thing. You've got a Gary brush cleanser, a SpongeBob and Patrick and Squidward makeup sponge, so you got different little shapes there. Now I will say, I feel like the biggest seller of this will probably be the highlighter, aside from the eyeshadow palette, because eyeshadow palettes will always be like the biggest seller because people are obsessed with palettes. But the Wet n Wild highlighter formula is popping. It's a really pretty like deep gold shade from, you know, the way it looks in the pictures anyway. It may be like a light gold, but regardless, I just feel like this looks very bath setty. It looks very childish. There's a fine line between wanting to buy something because of nostalgia and also being a grown-up. I'm not 10 anymore. So next up we have some Huda Beauty products. So we have the Wishful Yo Glow Tropical Fruits Enzyme Scrub, which is gonna be $21. And the Huda Baby Bake Mini Easy Bake Loose Setting Powder, which is $19. $19 for a mini? The hell? Let me just say that I actually used to watch Huda Beauty when she was just a content creator and not a brand owner. And I've watched a few of her videos whenever I've seen people like react to them. And honestly, I just don't like how she spreads information in her videos, because she's very, number one, biased, but also she has this way of pressuring you into feeling like you have to use a certain product, like her product obviously, or do a certain technique. It's like, oh, if you don't use this product or do this technique, then your makeup's gonna look really bad, or if you don't use a skincare product, then your skin's gonna suck. So I usually don't buy from Huda Beauty. I just don't like the brand as a whole. As far as the products go, because I got on a little tangent there, the Wishful Scrub, which Wishful is her skincare brand, it says it has pineapple and papaya enzymes as well as AHAs and BHAs, and some tropical fruit scents and flower scents. So that's great. Let's put all kinds of fragrance in our products for absolutely no reason. Now I haven't watched anybody use this, like I haven't seen any review videos or anything, but I feel like the whole scrub thing is kind of out. I've kind of gone back and forth. Like there was a point in time where I felt like, okay, there's absolutely no place for physical scrubs in a routine. Like you don't need them, it's just gonna cause damage. Now I'm kind of more on the line of like, okay, if you use it in moderation, if you are careful with it, like you're not like, I could see it having a place in a routine, especially if you have more acne prone skin, or if your skin is just really like rough and dull. Not so much as a long-term effect, but it's definitely gonna give you that like, okay, my skin looks and feels better already, you know? I don't know, I just don't trust the scientists that she works with. Like I've watched some of her videos on Instagram for like within the past couple of years, and the way that she talks about her products, and like, it's just, I don't know, I just don't trust them. I spent a long time talking about that. Let's move on. Makeup Revolution, they have a couple of collaboration collections that I'm going to talk about today's video. The first one that I see is in collaboration with Disney. Oh my God, to get the license to do a Disney collaboration, oh, we are big time now. This is in collaboration with Aristocrats, which I haven't watched. I'm not a big Disney person, I know. There's some highlighters, there's some lashes, lip gloss, a mirror, eyeshadow palette, and then a brush. I'll talk about the eyeshadow palette because I feel like that's literally the only thing that people are going to care about. This is just kind of all over the place to me, and there's a lot of redundancy. Is that a redundancy? I think that's a word. But I don't know, to me it looks like a lot of like dull colors mixed with a lot of pink. I don't know how accurate this is in comparison to like the Aristocrats, like if that's a pretty accurate color story. Oh no, this just don't speak to me. KKW has these eye contour tubes. This would be great to contour your eyes because you can't use a face powder on your eyes. Like that's, This idea that you can't use your bronzer or your contour on your eyes is just, it's ridiculous. Or I don't know, you probably had these shades in a neutral palette that you've already got in your collection. Like why the hell do you need a separate eye contour duo? Like who did this? I literally have 45 palettes in my collection that have this exact shade selection, and not even just like one of the duos, like has them all, like has all the shades. This next one I want to talk about because it's just absolutely ludicrous, and this is not something that I feel like anyone is gonna buy, but we're gonna roast it anyway. So this is a blush from a brand called Rose Hermes. I'm gonna call it Herpes, Rose Herpes. So it's a blush with a semi-matte finish embossed with texture resembling silk twill. So this is designed by a guy named Pierre Hardy. Is that the same one that had that Hardy perfume a while back that everyone wore for a while? Hardy? No, wait, that was Ed Hardy. But this is the kicker right here, okay? So these are $77 each for basic ass matte blushes. Who is the audience? Who's the audience? Anyone? I need a megaphone. Who is this for? $77 for a blush. You've got to be freaking kidding me. They're not even different shades. Like they're not even the kind of shades that are unique. They're just matte blushes. Oh my God, we have more face palettes. So Benefit now has these face palettes, which would have been a cool idea 6 years ago. So it looks like there are 3 palettes, and it looks like they just have like basic shades that they sell individually. No one is into face palettes now. We never were. We just pretended to be to look cool. So these are all called the Forescope palettes, but whenever I say that, I think like my mind automatically wants to say foreskin. So yeah, horrible freaking name. Is this the same Hoola shade in every single palette? Like they're all for different skin tones, but they have the same Hoola shade. Yep, Hoola is in every single one of these. And then this product. I feel like Fenty usually does pretty right by fans, like by their audience. I'm not like a big Fenty person just because I don't really buy a lot of high-end makeup, but like the majority rules, like Fenty is pretty awesome it seems like, but this is a total miss. Like this is totally tone deaf. This is a Gloss Bomb Dip Clip-On Lip Gloss. Okay, where do we begin? I'm not into applying a lipstick or lip gloss with my fingers. I never was. But number 2, to release this around COVID, like a product that you're gonna be whipping out and you're gonna be, you know, touching it with your fingers and then slathering all over your lips. Most people don't sanitize very well. Most people aren't washing their hands before they apply their lip gloss with their fingers. I just don't like this. I never did like this kind of idea. I think this is probably the first time they've actually dropped the ball. They dropped it. Okay, this one, Anastasia Beverly Hills is coming out with makeup wipes in 2021. Just let that sink in for a second. I feel like people are finally starting to care more about skincare. Like within the past couple of years, not even couple of years, like just the past year, people care more about skin. They're, you know, like the skincare community, like skincare gurus are the it thing right now. Like it's kind of trumping makeup gurus in a way. Like people are more concerned about skincare. I think that's great. And the common consensus is that makeup wipes are not good. Sure, you may have some people that are still lazy and, you know, grab a makeup wipe, and you know, if it's like once every while, like if it's like once in a blue moon, that's one thing. But if it's every single night, then no. Makeup wipes are so bad for the skin. There's so many reasons for it. Number 1, all the chemicals. Number 2, you're just wiping the makeup around your face. Like you're literally just like, makeup wipe, this is makeup wipe, okay? This is your makeup. You're wiping it around on the same face. You're not like rinsing it off, like if you're using a rag or something like a washcloth. You're not rinsing off the residue of what you're wiping off your face. You're literally just, same wipe
all over my face, you're not removing anything.
They're only surface level, and makeup kind of, you know, it has a tendency to get down and dig into the pores a little bit and clog them.
So a makeup wipe is not efficient.
So I don't really know what Anastasia is thinking. Like, who are they listening to? I think Anastasia does a horrible job now. Like, I think they used to do a better job like a few years ago, but I feel like they do a horrible job at listening to the market and like paying attention to the trends, on top of just having a horrible social media team that puts out literal shit advice. Also, I think it's so funny about this, and I think some people are like, oh, that's a good price point, but the fact that a more high-end brand is charging $6 for makeup wipes, they're desperate. Gently dissolve dirt and oil. No, you do not dissolve oil with a makeup wipe. It's not an oil. No, you can't dissolve oil with a water-based product. Water and oil don't mix. No, where's the science? Gently dissolve dirt and oil, removing even the most stubborn waterproof makeup looks while leaving your skin with a fresh, healthy glow. Listen to me. There is no makeup wipe that will ever leave your skin with a glow. You know what's so funny about looking through this list is that there's really nothing that pops out at me. Like, nothing stands out, nothing looks innovative. It's all boring, like everything looks the same. I'm just so bored with the new releases. Like, I'm just not into it. So Mel Cosmetics has the new Mary Jane collection. So I think this is supposed to be like this is a cannabis thing. It's a weed inspired collection. And to me, this looks very Urban Decay Naked Smoky. Like, it gives me Naked Smoky vibes. Are people really into this color story anymore? I know that grays and silvers and cooler tones came back for a little while, but I don't really know if they're still a thing. I've actually never tried anything from Mel Cosmetics. I've heard mixed things. Like, I've heard some people say that their formula for their eyeshadows is amazing. I've heard some people say they're completely overrated. So I really don't know. I don't really feel like this is a current trend. ABH Cosmetics is doing a remix dance collection. So they have the 80s palette, the 90s palette, and the 2000s palette, or the thousands palette, whatever you want to call it. What I think is so funny about whenever you think about a certain time period, like especially the 80s, like whenever you think of 80s, you think of like neon colors, you know, vibrant, you know, really vibrant pastels and stuff. What's so ironic is that literally people just wore those colors whenever they were going out to party, like going to clubs and stuff, you know, going dancing. It wasn't like an everyday kind of thing. Whenever you watch movies from the 80s, you know, people are wearing neutral colors, you know, minimal makeup. I think that's a very cliche way of describing the 80s, but that's just my opinion. But I mean, I feel like the 80s palette is pretty accurate if you're talking about like clubbing, dancing, Cyndi Lauper kind of thing. The 90s palette, I'm not really sure what direction they were going with that. I was born in 94, but I was a kid for all of the 90s, so I don't really know, like, from personal experience about, oh, this is what we wore in the 90s. But, like, looking back at models, looking back at trends and stuff, like Friends, you know, shows that were on in the 90s, they were not wearing pastels. I felt the 90s was more about grunge. Like, it was more about cool tones, grays, blacks, browns. Like, it wasn't about pastels literally at all, ever. I feel like the thousands, I feel like this is pretty on point with the thousands. I remember like in middle school whenever I started wearing makeup, and then in high school, like it was all about like silver smoky eyes. Like you would pop a super shimmery silver all over your eyelid and put some black in the outer corner, and there would be no blending in the crease. Like it would just be like a big old blob. I guess they kind of threw a few of those like more warm colors and stuff in there to make it more suitable for what people actually like now, so that they actually buy it. But for me, like if the 90s one was more accurate, I'd probably buy that one because I love, you know, 90s cool tone grunge kind of makeup, but there's not even a black in there. What gives? As F. So NYX has a Tetris collaboration, so this is back to the 80s. Is Tetris from the 80s? I thought Tetris was like a more modern day thing. I feel like NYX has really missed the mark a lot. And I feel like they, number one, don't come out with enough products to actually stay relevant. They just kind of do whatever they want to do. Exhibit A is coming out with a big behemoth eyeshadow palette in 2021 when literally no one is buying big palettes anymore. There's some pretty shades in it, but like take a few out, make individual palettes, like make 5 pans, make 6 pans, 8, 9, whatever. But to have this big behemoth eyeshadow palette, they are not listening to anyone. They're like that little kid that puts their fingers in their ears and doesn't listen to you. La, 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 la. How much is this jumbo size craziness? $45. NYX, come in closer. You're a drugstore brand. Oh God, oh God, oh God. Okay, Wishful, Huda Beauty, you. So they also have the Yo Detox Face and Body Enzyme Scrub. Okay, listen. If something is made for your body, it shouldn't be put on your face. Your face skin is so much more delicate and sensitive and fragile than your body skin. Your body skin is a lot tougher than our face. Kind of like putting, what is that brand? Treehouse, Tree Hut? It's these. Literally all of us have one of these scrubs in our shower right now. It's like putting this on your face. Scrubs that are made for your body are typically a lot more harsh, and like the granules are a lot rougher. Now I haven't touched this, I haven't seen it. It could be very fine, little small particles that are gentle enough for your face. I don't know, I'm just imagining that, like just based off my knowledge about Huda Beauty and how she knows shit about skincare, I'm gonna say that this is probably not a good product for your face. So it says packed full of powerful, clarifying, oil absorbing, and smoothing ingredients, charcoal, AHAs, BHAs, pineapple and papaya enzymes, and witch hazel. It's too much. I just feel like having not only AHAs, BHAs, and also pineapple and papaya enzymes, which are also exfoliating, it's just way too much exfoliation. Oh, here's a video, yay. So that's a lot of smiling. This is a cringy video. Oh, Too Faced. This is the Teddy Bear palette, and this screams, we don't know who our demographic is. Is it 8-year-olds who still play with stuffed animals? Is it, 25, 35, 45 and up year olds that want more mature makeup? We really don't know. The color selection's pretty. Is it vanilla? Yes, it's basic as hell. I just feel like Too Faced does the exact same palette over and over. They're very safe, like they don't really get off the dock, like they're afraid to actually put their feet in the water. They don't want to go away from their comfort zone. Swatches look fine, it's pretty, but I feel like there are probably 7 other palettes from Too Faced that looks the exact same. The Colourpop Lizzie McGuire collection. Again, to get the Disney licensing, man, Colourpop, you made it. Look, I am an OG Lizzie McGuire fan, okay? I watched Lizzie McGuire like it was going out of style. I was all about Hilary Duff for the win, but I don't get any inspiration, and people are actually comparing this to another Colourpop palette, which I can't remember which one it is. If I can find it, I'll put it up here too, but I think there's only like a very minor difference in the two. I feel like this does capture the essence of what Lizzie McGuire, like especially the cartoon Lizzie McGuire, I can't say Lizzie McGuire. Lizzie McGuire. Lizzie McGuire. Lizzie. So yeah, I do feel like the color story does capture the essence of like the Lizzie McGuire cartoon, like the theme, like the little intro theme or whatever. Never realized how like hippie-ish Lizzie McGuire theme is. Like it's pretty like 70s vibes. But also this just looks like something you would buy at Claire's. Especially the lip glosses and the blush, like they do the same tone of blush every time they do something. Like I need more. To me, Colourpop is getting to the point where I'm just bored with them. They can still be one of those brands that release new products all the time, but whenever you're releasing boring products or products I just don't care about, it just like I lose my attention span with you. We have the Jaclyn Cosmetics lip collection. No, I'm not joking. Pout Spoken collection is some liquid lipsticks and lip liners. So the liquid lipsticks are $20 each and the lip liners are $18 each. So I feel like she's done a pretty good job with pricing, where like she's kind of like middle, like mid-range. Like she's not super high end, like she's not super expensive, but she's also more like she's like Anastasia prices. So I did watch her release video just because I was excited to see like how much hype she would have and how she would talk about like, I've worked on this for so long. I love to hear those stories because I think they're so made up. She actually said that one good criticism that people had with the lipsticks, though, the hairy ones, was that people like the shade range, which maybe she saw it, maybe she didn't. On one hand, it is kind of rare to see a lot of nudes in liquid lipsticks. Like I feel like especially for a long time, whenever you saw a liquid lipstick, it was like a red, it was an orange, it was a bright pink, like it was very vibrant colors. It was like brands couldn't do a nude liquid lipstick for some reason. But I also feel like this is just not really what people are into now. Maybe it's a good time because of masks and stuff, like where people are wearing, lipsticks under mask and they don't stay on. But I don't know why you're wearing a lipstick under a mask. Like there's no point. Maybe that was her thinking on it. But I do feel like lipsticks were a pretty risky move on her part. I feel like if she's gonna do something, I would do like foundations, concealers, like something else. Just not lipsticks, girl. It's too soon. And then we have the Makeup Revolution Friends collaboration collection. Now I actually think this is part 2. Like I think this is like a second round of a Friends collaboration. Before they had palettes and stuff like that, but they have new palettes now, like on Ulta's website anyway. I only see what they just recently released, so I'm not sure if they did away with the phase 1 or what. But I hate this collection so much because it does not define Friends at all. And the first round of products didn't really either, and I was gonna buy them, but then I thought, you know what, I don't even really like these. Like, I don't like the shades, and I also don't like the Makeup Revolution formula for like the eyeshadow palettes and stuff. But this round is maybe even worse. First, let's talk about the lip kits. So they have a Rachel, Monica, and Phoebe lip kit. So a couple of years ago, I actually really studied the makeup that they wore on Friends, because I was actually want to do like a Friends inspired, like a 90s inspired makeup look. But a lot of times it looked like they were actually wearing the same makeup, like the same tones and stuff. Like they would have the same lipstick on all three girls, or the same eyeshadow tones, or whatever. It's like the makeup artist just kind of did the same thing on all of them. And when it comes to lips, let's actually talk about each one. So let's do the Monica one first. Oh my God, these are so ugly. Okay, to me this looks like a deep brick coral, a concealer pale nude. I feel like Monica wore like a lot of brick reds. I could be wrong, I didn't really study her makeup as much. Like I studied Rachel's a lot more. Now there are some times when Monica would wear like a deep coral lipstick, but this does not scream Monica to me. And then the Phoebe lip kit contains more pink shades. So there's a concealer pink nude, there's like a mauve pink, and again, Phoebe, I don't remember her ever wearing this tone of lipstick. Now the Rachel one is the one that I feel most comfortable judging, because Jennifer Aniston was who I studied the most when I was studying like 90s makeup, and literally not one of these shades is anything she wore on that show. A lot pale pink, a lot mauve pink, like absolutely not. A lot of times she wore brick red, she wore deep corals. I don't remember her ever wearing like any light pink shades at all. This was such a missed opportunity for Makeup Revolution, because the Friends makeup looks were so iconic and they're so recreated by people to this day, and this is just a huge miss. So they didn't do an eyeshadow palette for the girls. They may have done one for the girls in the first round of this collection, like maybe they're switching it up, I'm not sure. But they have a Joey, Chandler, and Ross eyeshadow palette. None of these men wore makeup. Not to mention, these palettes don't represent these men and their like vibes, like their personality at all. The Joey palette is this. So you've got yellow, red, orange, lime green, just a lot of not Joey things. And the Ross one's more neutral, so I guess they were trying to do like fossils, dinosaurs, I don't know. But again, didn't wear makeup. And then the Chandler one is this is the one that really gets me. How does this represent Chandler at all? I really want to have a talk with who was in charge of the color stories of these palettes, because they clearly didn't watch Friends. And then last but not least, they have the I'll Be There For You eyeshadow palette, which I guess represents the show as a whole. What is this? We have oranges, we have reds, we have golds, we have warm tones that they literally never wore. What they should have done for the eyeshadow palettes is do one big palette, represents all the girls. It should have been cool tones, it should have been grunges, it should have been neutrals, and that would have been a kick-ass killer eyeshadow palette that most people would have bought, despite the fact that Makeup Revolution's formula sucks ass. But now I want to hear from you guys. So what are your thoughts on the products I talked about today in particular? Does anything pique your interest, or are you just as bored as I am? But if you like anti-makeup hauls, and if you want to see more like it, then make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And also, if you want to see more sassiness, I actually have an anti-makeup haul playlist. So yeah, just venture around, make yourself at home. But subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and turn the notification bell on to always see my stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Mwah.